In the great words of Taylor Swift, you belong with me, Greg and Griffin. I'm so happy to have you back. I'm gonna talk to you guys about something fucking near and dear to my heart. Semen
Okay, yeah.
retention.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
I'm
sense,
back.
actually. Are you sure it's not near and dear to Greg's heart, though?
So it's probably much more near and dear to his heart. He holds it very fondly.
I hold
But
it.
this is a
You
real
couldn't, though.
movement. Oh god, I got choked up. This is a real movement, though. Like, I know the No Nut November was a thing, right? People choose not to come for the month of November because
Yes.
the internet told them to. It's pretty dumb if you ask me. But there's other people on the other side of this coin that literally are voluntarily not coming because they think it is giving them like more
It is. You
intelligence
become
and
a
more
higher
knowledge
being.
and more
So,
spirituality. Yeah, that's what they're saying. This one guy I saw today specifically on Instagram. He was like, so it's been 2 months of voluntary semen retention, and my wife is happier than ever. And I was saying all this shit. And I was like, hold up, hold up. You tell me, you telling me you haven't had sex with your wife in 2 months and she's never been happier? I feel like that's a solid
for
fucking red
She's probably
flag.
like,
sure.
well, I'm
Like,
sleeping with someone else, so even.
So,
I'm not saying that like sex is the most important thing in a relationship, but if once you stop sleeping with your significant other and then
Right,
they're
that's
happier,
kind of
I feel like
sketchy.
there
so
may have
this
been some
is
issues
my stance on it.
in
There's many,
the
many studies that say that ejaculating for men is healthy. It keeps your prostate good and it keeps your functions. Yeah, and
have to.
it it's been said that it's good to keep all that energy below the belt, right? Like you don't want that energy bubbling up because then you get all up in your head.
Yeah,
E-
you don't want to come in your own
Exact.
face,
Well, I'm
like on
thinking of the
purpose.
Wolf of Wall Street when he's talking about masturbating 3 or 4 times a day. He's like, you got to keep that energy
That's
down
such.
low,
I
below
love
the
that.
belt. But seriously,
Yeah.
well,
So that's kind of what this.
there's lots of
Sorry, go ahead.
reasons to ejaculate, but when looking up, like, hey, what are the benefits of semen retention? There's no real benefits that have been learned scientifically yet. However, in like, there's people out there who already have this. Like, there's multiple different like what's the not this is scientific medical thingamajiggies like retrograde ejaculation or
Oh
any
God!
ejaculation
Wow.
Oh yeah.
or any of those. That is a form of semen retention, and not to like throw shade at those guys or anything like that, but none
Oh
of them
my
are flying
God!
around being
No,
superhuman. Like, it's not.
I don't understand why Greg
We're
keeps
just
saying
gonna
"Oh my
out
God"
Greg
like
like
that.
that.
What?
Yeah, it is.
What? No one was gonna. No one was
I'm
saying
just
anything
saying
about
that
you, dude.
there's some people out there
Listen,
that do have certain things that, like, it can be from it. You can literally get hit with a baseball in the gut and then have this start happening.
That's
And
exactly what happened to me.
push the test
sometimes when
syndrome.
people have vasectomies too, certain vasectomies end up with people not being able to ejaculate sperm fully. They still have an orgasm, but they don't ejaculate anything, and it's not.
Bro, if that happened to a horny motherfucker like me and semen just built up in my balls,
So
they would explode. They would. I feel like they would physically bust. I'd be working
and it
one day. I'd pick
depends.
up a heavy ass case,
You'd
and then it'd be like
herniate
2 water
yourself.
balloons popping down my legs.
People be behind you and they'd be like, "Ah, what just hit me in the leg?" And you'd be like, "Oh, I just popped."
They'd be like, why does that guy have bags of milk in his pants? That's fucking weird.
So what
Fucking milk
actually
spilling out my
happens
pant leg.
is it goes back and it doesn't get absorbed by your body. It goes into your bladder and then you pee it out next time you urinate. I don't know where all this. The only form of semen retention that would actually gain you any nutrients is if you came in a glass and then chugged it.
That's
Yeah,
fucked
that
up.
And then drank it. Yeah. Which that's just like a
Right,
normal
like
breakfast
egg,
routine for most
raw
people.
With
egg.
the 2 pieces of toast.
Yeah, 2 pieces of
Oh,
toast,
no.
glass of semen.
Oh, that actually made me kind of
Uh,
gag for a minute. I
um,
visualized it. Oh no!
You don't have to, you
You can dip the toast.
It'd be like
know.
fucking what's his name? Beard meets food. Whenever he
Right?
wipes his bread in something
Yeah.
soggy, so he can down it faster. So every morning I take my toast and just wipe it in semen and just eat it. All right, now to move on from this, even though the influencer on Instagram that said he was also
Oh, he
his
was
wife was
lying.
happy and all this other shit, said that he can physically lift more weight now. And
Because
you know why I
He's
think he
so
can physically
angry.
lift more weight? Imagine how fucking angry you would be if you haven't busted a nut in 2 months.
point.
Right? He's like the UFC fighters with a small dick that we talked about. So we have an ongoing thing. We think that the guy with the smallest dick in the UFC is typically the best because he's the angriest and he goes out there and he wants it. Right now, the pound for pound best in the world is Volkanovski. I'm not gonna say the dude's got a tiny dick or anything. He
Whoa.
might have some big shrimps on
He's
the
gonna
barbie.
show
You
up in
never
your
know.
DMs like
But
tomorrow.
Right.
Mike, you say I have a small dick, mate. I'd be like, no, I said the opposite. I said you got some
He's
giant
got
shrimps on the
he's
Barbie,
got
bro. Come
prawns.
on the podcast.
Prawns.
That is, I want to touch on that while we're here. I've also, for anyone listening, I've decided to abolish the MMA podcast right now because not enough of you motherfuckers like MMA, which is sad. But we'll sprinkle it throughout the normal podcast. For example, Alexander Volkanovski, in my opinion, moved up to pound for pound best in the world with that
Yes.
performance over Max Holloway, bro. Like, what the flying fuck? This guy outclassed another guy on the pound for pound list. He 50-45'd another guy on the pound for pound best in the world. That means he won all
Yeah.
5 rounds in every single judge's eyes. Actually, one guy
Yeah,
was
it's pretty
wild.
fucked
50-44,
up.
which is
That
fucked.
was that.
Didn't he
both
also
those
break his
championship
fist?
fights were- Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he broke his
Mhm.
thumb in like the first or second
That's
round. He just took
defeat.
the X-ray of it today. Oh my god! If you guys haven't, anyone listening or you guys, I know you guys watched it with me, but go back and rewatch Volkanovski
Oh,
versus
yeah.
Brian Ortega. That third round is insane. He gets put in the deepest
Yeah.
mounted guillotine I've ever
Well-
seen, somehow survives, and then immediately
sure
gets put in a
Griffin
triangle and
was here
survives.
watching that with us.
Yeah. I was here.
Yeah, he was. That was like I think that was one of the first couple cards he watched. Like really watched the whole thing through with us. And I remember telling him, I was like, dude, that's probably
Yeah,
one
that
of
was
the best
crazy
cards
he
you'll ever
got
see
out of
in
that.
the history of the world. That was the night Justin
Yeah.
Gaethje and Michael Chandler fought too. You remember that?
When does Gaethje fight
Yeah,
next?
Griffin was definitely for that.
Can't be anytime soon, man.
Oh, I don't know. He said he wants to fight 2 or 3 more times. And
Oh, he's
then
getting
earn his shot
nose
back at the
surgery.
belt.
That's what he said. He's getting his nose fixed, and then he can fight again.
Yeah, dude, you know why? Have you heard him
got,
talk?
like, sinus issues because of it.
His
Yeah.
nose is decimated, bro.
Yeah.
It sounds like this. He's like, I need to go out there, do my game plan, leg kick him. 98% takedown defense. Can't get me. And every time he talks, I'm like, God damn, he fights all
Right.
of his fights breathing through his mouth. And he's got cardio. Imagine this dude whenever he gets past the fact that he can't breathe through his nose. Imagine his cardio when he's properly breathing, when he's breathing through his nose.
It'll
out his
happen.
mouth.
I think he's getting it this
Man,
month.
this guy's gonna be
I
a beast.
remember him posting about it. So he's
Have
getting
you guys seen
Pretty
those things? They're like masks you wear that are supposed to limit the amount of like they're supposed to help train your breathing.
Yeah, they're like higher
So they-
altitude masks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They're supposed to like simulate high altitude training. By
Yes,
your breathing.
yes. How do they work?
Fuck, I don't know. I've seen him though. That guy follow the small MMA fighter.
It
Posted
just
one the
must
other
be
day,
some
he got
kind of
sponsorship for
filter
more.
that restricts the amount of oxygen that comes in through the mask. Yeah.
See, because in my stoner brain, I was thinking about it, and is there like a little microchip with a timer in there, and it like opens and closes vents when you're supposed to breathe? So you're quite
like,
honestly
cuts you
sitting there and being like,
right?
Damn, I can't
Yeah,
breathe
like-
until it's time to
God.
breathe. Fuck.
It'd be weird.
That would be rough. Have you seen those challenges of people getting in the trash
Oh
bags
my
and then
God,
somebody will
yeah.
vacuum seal them?
no.
That shit is horrifying. People will sit inside of a big, like heavy duty, like black
Yeah.
gallon trash bag thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Those big industrial kitchen bags. They will sit inside of it, and somebody else will get a vacuum and then put it on suck, and it like shrink wraps their body. Like it literally vacuum seals their body, and that shit looks horrifying
I'm
to me.
pretty
And all
sure
these
it's
people
like
are like,
actually dangerous, isn't it?
I don't
Why would
doubt
it
that
be
it's
dangerous? What?
I don't doubt it at all.
Do they do it with their heads inside?
No.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
everything
no,
but their
fine.
head. But imagine if you can't expand your lungs if somebody vacuum sealed your chest to a point where it couldn't expand.
No, they would have to. The pressure
Weird.
that it would have to be on the vacuum seal, though, would have to outclass gravity. You would have to have 10 pounds of vacuum pressure pulling towards your body, compressing it.
Well,
I'm scared either
Because
way.
when you
I'm not
think
doing
about
that
it, we
shit.
try
vacuum seal food all the time, and it
food's
doesn't
not
break down
breathing
the
though.
food. Yeah, but I mean, so as long as you're stronger than the vacuum pull and whatever is being pulled, like if you had like an industrial, like a
There's some
super
strong
strong,
vacuums, yeah.
if a mega strong vacuum and a mega strong bag, you would just be
Your
like,
shop vac.
you would be popped. But like, I don't think that would be because it would
Like,
be similar to having a suit on that is filled with air.
if some of the girls I've met were sucking the air
No.
out,
No.
we'd be screwed.
No. You know what? I've thought about it, and it's like being wearing a
Right? Like
fucking
that's
gimp
what I
suit.
mean.
That's how they make
people
gimp
have been doing it for
That's the mold.
years.
Damn, now I feel dumb, and I feel even weirder that parents are fucking putting their children in like
Oh,
trailer
know what
trash
that
gimp
means.
suits.
creating the fetishes for the children.
No, I don't.
So you don't know what that
I'm
means, Greg?
confused. Oh, trailer. You mean
You don't know
the
what a gimp
bag
suit
is
is?
the garbage bag is the trailer trash. Okay.
Yeah, like that's a saying. Like where I'm from, like not saying that people who live in trailers are trash, but that is what I'm saying about some people. I grew up. I had to live in a trailer a couple times in my life. We were poor, and I will tell you right now, those places are filled with trash. You will find some good gyms here and there, and if you're listening to this and you're one of those good
Oh,
gyms,
dude,
just know I love you.
I
But
just
you will
didn't
know that I'm
understand
fucking
that
correct.
trailer trash gimp suit thing. Like there's a lot of trailer trash around here.
Yeah, so it's like a poor man's, like a wish
There's a lot
gimp
of
suit.
trailer
Yeah.
parks around here actually.
Some of them are nice.
They are like the trailers are actually pretty nice inside.
What's the difference between like trailer parks that are newly built and they're pretty much used for either tourism or they're just under good management
also-
and Tennessee's trailers? Our trailers are filled with people who literally pay like $500, maybe $1,000 for lot fees for an entire year. They buy a trailer for like $5,000. It's got holes all in it. They hook it up to something, fucking haul it down the road to their little lot, sit it there, and then collect fucking trash outside of their house for years, literally for years, and they sit there in filth. I'm not playing, dude. There's very few clean trailers I've seen, and those that I have seen are people who live more minimalistically, anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like they choose to live in a trailer because it's one of the
It's like
cheapest options,
the
not
van
because they're
life
poor. They're
movement.
just like, yeah, this economically makes
Yeah,
sense.
like
Yeah,
I've
exactly. That's a good way to
seen
put it.
like a
Like I said,
Tennessee trailer once, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like there was fucking plants everywhere. Fucking
Tennessee trailer.
talking
there's
about
plants
fucking
everywhere.
DJ.
There's rodents. I mean, not rodents.
Oh.
Reptiles. I mean.
No,
Oh
they're
yeah,
rodents. Those fucking cats.
Yeah.
Cats aren't rodents. He loves those cats when he's not like drowning them.
No, I love DJ, and if he loves his cats, I love his
You
cats.
love his cats. He don't
Fuck
lie.
cats. Whatever, man. If they make him happy, then even though I know they don't.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Hey, fuck those cats.
I don't know what sparked this. Oh yeah, because DJ and I were talking about it the other day. Isn't it insane how like the years of COVID? So 2019, technically we're still in it, but I'm gonna say it ended in 21 for the thing I'm referencing. 2019 to 2021 was a time for every single fucking hobby to increase exponentially in
Absolutely,
price.
yes.
Like Pops, Pokemon
That's
cards,
because people didn't have fucking
baseball cards,
jobs. And
football
they're
cards,
sitting at
all of
home
it, dude.
spending all this money they're getting and shit, and like they just don't care. Nobody cared.
Well, that's the thing. You guys got a lot of money in Canada,
Yeah, I
but
know.
in America, we didn't get shit. So I don't know what money people were spending
Well,
down here.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So
There
you
was
got to
some
think like during this
relief down
time,
there.
and
There was like,
Yeah, there was like a couple stimulus checks. or
because my
whatever,
mom
yeah,
got some.
here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing though. The quote unquote relief that they gave us in total for me, even I have a child and I got all my stimulus checks except for one, was only like $3,000 over
Yeah.
the course of almost 3 years. And there was a good 6-month period there where I couldn't do any work at all. Like I couldn't I couldn't do any work. Like I literally couldn't do any work. And my bills are like, you know, 1,600 to 2,000 a month between Kiana and I. It's quite a bit of money. So they didn't even give me enough money to cover 3 months of bills, and I was out of work for at least
Yeah.
6 months. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I don't understand where people were like, and that's not even bad. Listen, I live in a really fucking poor, cheap part of the country. Tennessee's like that. There's people in New York who got that money, and it literally
Yeah.
didn't cover a single
Oh,
month of
excuse
their
me.
rent. Like it didn't cover a single month of rent. That's a oh dude, I've been coughing this whole time. I smoked too much, and my
Oh,
lungs are
you're
all
good. I
fucked
didn't
from
even
running.
notice that you.
I've just been coughing. But the point I was trying to is now in 2022 we're noticing a crash
Absolutely.
of all of those hobbies. Like the price is going down drastically on all this shit. So if you're listening to this and there's a
Invest
hobby you've
now.
always wanted to try, or there's a skill if there's a skill you've always wanted to learn, or if there's a cryptocurrency or stock you've always been interested in, this is the fucking time.
Absolutely.
Everything is red, everything is crashing. I feel like it's right before a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
rocket little
You know
ride
what's
to
gonna
the
go
moon
back
on a lot
up,
of this
like
shit.
soon enough.
And if it doesn't,
So if you're listening and you've been thinking about investing, or you've been thinking about learning a skill, you've been thinking about doing this, that, this is your sign. The sign you've been looking for. Get out there and do it,
do
motherfucker.
it. I just got a couple bow and arrows myself.
Get out there.
Oh yeah, see,
See,
I
everybody's learning a
can
skill.
juggle.
I mean, that you
Oh,
didn't.
Like you've known how to
Oh,
juggle. It's gonna be something
What's
new.
new that you learned?
Oh shit.
you know what? A topic I did want to talk about earlier, like the first thing when we were like, oh, what can we talk about? I was gonna be like, oh, well, like we can talk about like our hobbies or something, like something about us kind of thing, you know? Yeah.
Well, before we were recording the first episodes and we were trying to figure out
No, I
topics
mean
and
like
shit.
today.
Like,
When you
what
and
are
I
our
were like,
hobbies
I don't
when
remember
we
today?
were
any
like,
today, man.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't
What
remember.
are our hobbies?
Bro, what do you do for fun, excluding video games? And I'm not being an
Oh,
asshole. I'm
so you
genuinely
just think
wondering.
all I do is play video games, huh?
No, I don't. That's why I just
Yeah,
said
this
that.
is why I want to
Follow
turn
that
it
with.
in.
I'm not gonna
I juggle a
no,
lot,
preface it
but I'm
before.
still not that good at it, honestly.
Yeah.
But like
What constitutes a hobby, do you think?
something that you invest time into that you
I would
enjoy.
say a hobby is
That doesn't have to be business related,
yeah.
Okay, but is watching TV a hobby?
but it
Yeah.
could be business.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's Kiana's hobby. That's her thing, her pastime. I think a hobby is just a way to invest, like pastime or invest time that brings you
Yeah.
pleasure of some sort or brings you peace of mind. Like in some, I mean,
So then what's a
some people
pastime?
aren't out
Sorry.
here. Now, I'm not. A pastime is anything that just passes
Yeah.
time. It doesn't have to be enjoyable.
Well,
Hobby and pastime can be used synonymously, but I've never used pastime in a happy way. Say the words
I
pastime and tell me
always
a synonym.
I always
Say
thought
hobby.
of hobby as something like that you would not sink money into, but
Oh, I knew
that
you would
has a
say, 'cause that's a
cost
good point, though.
associated with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say a hobby is definitely something that
Is
Yeah, but
well, because
no,
you can fuel a hobby, right?
no.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, do you have to spend money to have a hobby? Like,
But then again,
usually,
No. I just looked up the definition. It literally says an activity done regularly in one's
I
leisure
guess you
time for
could
pleasure.
play volleyball as your hobby.
So
You still have to buy a volleyball.
you could
yeah, I was
suck
about to
dick
say,
as a hobby.
you can watch birds as a hobby. Yeah,
that you
that shit don't
make
cost
money off
anything,
your hobby.
dude. That's another thing I
Oh,
was.
That becomes
see how
a
it
great
is.
career. That's what
That's
that
another
is.
thing I was.
That's a great career.
You guys were talking about infidelity earlier, like how rich you have to be before infidelity catches up to you. What brought that on?
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what was the story there? Because I just heard it briefly, and then I had you guys look it up a bit further. But I guess he had a baby while he was having another baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
with
guess he's
some
having twins that are,
girl
or he
that
has,
worked for him or
secret
something.
twins with like.
Dang. So yeah, how rich do you have to be? Well, was that an open relationship, or it was behind? It was like hush hush, wasn't it? Because it's just coming out now.
One day after confirming he secretly fathered twins, Elon Musk vows to significantly boost childcare benefits at all of his companies. So that's like a big thing that he's doing now. He also stepped down from his deal with
His
Twitter.
You
deal
think
at
because of all
Twitter
this?
is no longer.
Oh, his acquisition of Twitter has been
Yes,
abolished.
yay!
No.
Now, what did you say, Griffin, about the
Twinneronies.
twinneronies?
Yeah, are they were they a secret, or were they like?
Well, they were until
Okay.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. So he has now come out as having secret twins while he was dating someone else that he was two-timing.
Was it while he was dating the other person he had a kid with?
Had to be.
That's what I was
they
thinking.
They
Yeah,
just quit seeing each other, like, and that's probably why, because he was banging his
he's out here making all
an
this money,
executive
and
at
he's like,
Neuralink. Dude, this is the problem, man. This is why you don't shit where you eat. That's a phrase we have down here. You don't shit where you eat. Imagine shitting on your dinner table
You don't-
and then eating pancakes.
well,
you go to grab a
what
sausage,
he
you
did
grab
was
shit,
he
and you
cleaned
eat
the
it.
table afterwards until now, and then shit particles came back up.
Then people were like, "What's all this?"
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't shit where you eat. So as soon as he fucked the girl he worked with that was under him, he shit where he ate. It was bound to get shit in somebody's mouth. You know whose mouth it always ends up in? The person who shit there almost every time. Because everybody else at the table gets mad and they feed him the shit. They're like, hey,
Right?
why you
They're
shitting
like,
on the table?
we saw it happen.
I do not want to have dinner at your house anymore.
I'm done eating there, man. It's
I
weird.
can't
Every
look at
single
the
time
plates the
I come
same.
over
The
there, there's
plates,
shit
I
on the
know they
table.
look clean, but are they clean? Because I know there's been other guests.
That Tupperware was awfully brown. I understand orange Tupperware because it's spaghetti.
That was not
This
spaghetti.
shit is uncomfortable.
Oh, why does spaghetti stain Tupperware? And why does no Tupperware company talk about it?
Bro, I'll throw that
Instead
shit
of
out.
I don't know that.
Well, like, right? I feel like that's the time when it finally gets to a point where you're like, oh, it's oranger than orange, man. I can't.
Is that our next fucking $1 billion idea? We make
We literally
unstainable
advertise it
Tupperware?
like, hey, you eat lots of spaghetti?
No, it'll just be a commercial
like
of Mario and Luigi
the-
eating spaghetti, and then as soon as they go to clean out their bowls, Mario's washes out and is super clean, and Luigi's holding an orange bowl.
What
and he's
about
just sad,
a
and that'll be
Tupper
the end.
container that is not see-through besides a small window? And that window, on the inside, it has a little slider. And when you put spaghetti in there, you put the slider over, so that slider gets all orange. And then when you have anything else in there, you pull the slider out, so it's not orange.
The slider had to be made of something that's non-flammable, and it's like flimsy enough and small enough that it can also go in a microwave and not melt, but it could move malleably
Now
like that.
you will believe.
Like,
We could make it out of arsenic. I'm sorry.
He
No,
just-
that's not it.
yeah, he said that. He
out of
straight
my
said
son?
that.
No.
What the
I
fuck?
said arsenic. Like arsenic.
That's racist.
Whoa! This is getting worse.
People.
How do I put this gently? Twitter, come get him.
Cancel.
Cancel this motherfucker.
Do I have a speech impediment? This is a compound, a chemical compound. Am I wrong? It's like anthrax. It's not like anthrax, but
Anthrax. Man, I used to love putting that stuff on my PB&J.
So,
dog.
did you know there's a whole island full of
So
anthrax?
what?
'Cause I'm an island anthrax.
No, I mean, they have caves full of fucking cheese.
What?
Why wouldn't
An
they have an
island
island
full of
full
cheese?
of anthrax? No, caves. They've got caves. America, the
Okay,
Hold
government
right.
has
on. So
a
it's a
fucking cave
conspiracy
full of
cave
cheeses.
full of cheese.
No, this
The
is a
government owns.
this is a
No, this is
100%
real.
factual. Go
Listen,
ahead, Logan.
3.2 million square foot warehouse under
Why?
part of Springfield, where they have dairy products, mostly
To
cheese.
preserve
They're called.
to preserve them.
Sorry, go ahead.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So, if you guys want to perform the world's greatest and most
Oh.
memorable heist,
How
I'm saying we fucking
much
robbed
can
the
we
cheese
keep though?
caves. Imagine Americans with no
That's a good
cheese.
point.
We would
God.
And we
riot.
can
I
resell.
fucking love cheese. I would have a meltdown.
Can you imagine, like, if a couple mice got in there and they just bred and just bred and bred and
God.
bred?
If I get reincarnated as a mouse, you know that's where I'm going to live life.
That's where you would.
Have you ever
Yeah,
seen
you gotta figure out how to
Fantastic
get in
Mr.
there.
Fox?
No, is that the guy that's like ring?
No, it's like you've never seen that movie? It's so good. It's so good.
Hell no, no idea.
Oh
I've seen
well,
the
I'm
Fox
pretty
and the
sure like
Hound.
they're trying
Good
to like
movie.
That
Good
movie
movie.
makes me
invade
cry.
some place or something,
It is a good
and that
movie.
just reminded me of it.
I'm gonna tell you guys a memory of my childhood that has to do with the Fox and the Hound. The first time I ever spent the night at any of my friend's house or anything, like first time I spent the night anywhere besides my parents, I went to this guy named Gus's house. I cannot for the life of me remember his last name because I'm shit with names, but I went to this guy named Gus. I'll describe him to you. He's like short and kind of chubby and had freckles from head to toe. And he had a big gap in his front teeth, and
Yes.
he was super nice. One of the nicest. He looked like fucking the guy off Diary for a Wimpy
Yeah.
Kid. You know? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The protagonist's buddy.
Rupert.
What's his fucking name?
Rupert.
That is not his name. That is not his
Something.
name.
Yeah,
No,
and
his
he looked.
name's Rupert.
Did I get it right?
Then what is it?
Don't fuck with me. I know his name's not Rupert, and you guys both got me. Oh,
What is it? Dale?
like my dad.
I don't know what it is. Anyways, I stayed the night at this guy's house, and I didn't realize how rich he was until I'm older. Now that I'm older and I'm looking back at staying in that house, I'm like, holy cow, this guy was fucking rich. But
It's Robert.
I stayed there, and at some point during the night, I have no idea what the fuck happened, but I just woke up scared to fucking death at like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Because of June.
I was absolutely horrified, and so I walked downstairs. Yeah, I don't know, something scared me. I walked downstairs, and this guy was watching fucking Troy
Yep.
with
Oh,
Brad
yeah,
Pitt,
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe.
Yep.
Is that the one he's in? Yeah. He was watching Troy, and so I literally ninja crawled like behind the couch and watched almost the whole movie, and it only scared me more. So then I just started fucking crying. I just sat there behind the couch crying and scared the shit out of this guy because he had no idea I was going down there. So all of a sudden he just and I just started fucking bawling. I don't even remember why. I was just so fucking scared. I didn't want to be there. And then they drive at like 2 or 3 in the morning to drop me back off at my parents' house. Neither of my parents are home. They went to some party somewhere. And so then I come back. They're like, okay, well, if your parents aren't home, I guess you'll just have to stay here tonight. And they were fucking pissed. I mean, imagine you have some little kid stay at your house and he's 2 in the morning. He's like, I'm going home.
Yes.
I'm going to cry until you take me home. And then I get back and this lady puts on the Fox and the Hound for me and pets my head until I fell asleep. And I've loved that movie ever
Did you ever
since.
tell her you love her?
I have no idea what she looks like. No, I have no memory of her face, her body, what his dad looked like, or anything. I only remember what he looked like, and I only remember what her hand looked like. Isn't that weird how memories work? I've blocked out everything except for the TV, her hand, and that kid. I just remember their house being giant, like 2 or 3 stories, and we were all the way on the top
remember
floor.
that part in the movie Troy where like he like is facing that guy and he's like representing the enemy's army and he just like runs up and one shots him. It's sick. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna see how long I could stay silent.
The key.
No, but that movie should be. You know how I've talked about certain movies that should be shown to children? This movie should be shown to certain adults. I think when you get to age, maybe. I want to say I haven't hit it yet. Once I hit it, I'll let you know. But
I haven't
that
hit
movie
phase yet.
is it teaches a couple different lessons. One in particular, like your friend. Well, like
Can't
it
trust no
teaches you
bitch.
not to judge a book by its cover because, like, obviously the fox and the hound became friends, even though they're like a fox and a hound.
Oh, bro,
Oh
I thought you
yeah,
were talking about Troy.
Troy. We'll get to that. No, but
Same
Fox
shit.
and the Hound, very similar movies. No. Let's talk about how similar they are. No, but the Fox and the Hound, it shows like okay, so
That movie makes me
well,
cry
when
every
you
time
think
I
about
watch
it,
it.
it's about it's kind of similar to like if you were. It has notes of American History X. It has notes of a lot of shit where
So
like
it's racist.
well, no, where what
That movie's
What?
all about racism.
Seen it. I don't even know what you're
it
talking about.
Logan.
no.
Oh
Well,
god.
if you look at the allegories of the Fox and the Hound, it could be about racism.
Hold on, Logan. You've never seen American History X? Okay, so the
I'm not a
first
movie
scene
buff.
in
I
this
fucking
movie,
hate
this
cinephiles. Let me go ahead and put this on the record. Hold up, I have to say this. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put this on the record. If you're a cinephile and that's what you do for a hobby, and like
Shit.
your whole entire personality is centered around you making fun of other
I don't give a
people's
fuck
choice in
about that.
movies, you're a fucking loser, bro. You're a fucking loser. If you're one of, dude, there's this guy that I'm friends with on Facebook, and his every single day he posts like, if you like Avengers, then you're literally brain dead fucking scum. This is the most half-ass made movie I've ever seen in my life. Shoves popcorn in mouth, butter spilling down
Butter.
his fucking fat rolls. That's how I feel. Anyways, sorry, go ahead, Greg. Fuck
So Griffin
cinephiles. Go
was
ahead.
comparing Fox and the Hound to American History X, and American History X. The first scene in that movie is a skinhead, some black guy tries to fucking rob him, and he comes out with a big swastika tattoo and fucking curb stomps him, and kills him, and goes to jail forever. And I don't know if that's
So
really
That's
comparable
fucked
to
up.
Fox and the Hound.
The fucking
so
swastika, the
this
swastika
guy,
guy
Edward
tattoo.
Norton's character, he grows up as a
It's a great
Nazi.
movie,
He gets
though.
inducted into this guy who they call what do they call him? Uncle or something? Uncle something.
Some fucking, I'm sure some fucking weird
Oh, the
incest
guy
shit,
he
because all
meets in
racists
the
are fucking
jail.
inbred fuckholes.
Well, no, the guy who meets him before jail, his like the old guy who's like the leader of that clan.
Oh,
No,
I don't fucking remember. Yeah,
Some basic
exactly.
basically,
wisdom on the
yeah, it's
lips.
like
Actually, you know what? That's wrong. That's fucked up. That's not even a negative thing. If you want to call a guy daddy kissing my lips, do that shit.
Logan
But
does
these
it to
guys,
me.
they're probably brothers and uncles and shit.
so. The point is,
You know
while
what?
he's in
Keanu's
prison,
gonna.
he hooks up with like the skinheads, right? Like you get to prison, you're a skinhead, you got the Nazi tattoo, and you go up and you sit with all the Nazis. So
It's
he
a
does
fucked up
that,
movie.
but when he's in prison, he's realizing that the Nazis also like deal with all other types of races. Like they trade cigarettes, they like act like nothing is wrong. They act like they're just people. And then the other Nazi guys that are in there basically let him know that like yeah, that's not how things are going to work in here. If you want to survive, you got to put that shit behind you. And once he does that, he realizes that yeah, he's wrong and whatever. He has a kid
Well,
brother who thinks who
yeah,
wants to be a Nazi, and he's kind of like he's he's toying with the idea of it because his big brother was a Nazi and he went to jail, and so he automatically has the stigma against people. But then he meets a like a black friend. No,
yes.
no, it does.
No. The kid
Well,
doesn't meet the black friend. Edward Norton in jail meets the
yeah,
black guy, and then realizes that
Here comes
he
the
shouldn't
talk to
fucking
the.
be racist anymore, right?
yes, and so Edward Norton's character basically makes it a point to teach his kid brother not to be a racist. But
It
the
doesn't
only
work.
reason why that oh well, it does work. His kid brother ends up not being a racist but gets killed because he was a racist for a little bit. Like he
Spoilers.
Was,
Oh, yes.
yes. Sorry, you should still watch the movie, but
Yeah,
The movie's
it
like,
is
fine. I don't
honestly a
plan on
fucked up
watching it.
movie, and
I'm
it's.
sorry. I just don't like anything to do. Like, there's already so much fucking racism and hate in America. If I were to watch a movie
Probably.
about
So
it,
the
I would
Fox
just
and the
get angry.
Hound. The reason why I connected the two
Fox
is
and
because
Hound. Here we go back to it, yeah.
later on in the movie, you know, when the fox is about to get shot and the hound goes over to the fox and he's like, "This is my buddy. Don't do that." Um, yeah, everybody get their cries out. It's good. It's a good moment.
Chief, don't go, Chief. That shit was
And
sad,
honestly,
for real.
it's like it
Um,
forces us to reflect on our own friendships from our childhood, like the ones that maybe didn't last and why they didn't last, and friends who became enemies and what that really meant back in that moment, and what really the time you shared with that friend, what it means in the greater scheme of things. Like, I don't really have any friends that I can think of that I've cut off for superficial reasons or really right, but like,
right.
uh,
Well, I feel like between the three of us, we do a lot of introspective thinking. Like, I don't like to sit around and think that I'm better
Yeah.
than other people and do this or this. I like to find my flaws and work on them. And there are people out here that are literally like, this person's dragging me down. I'm literally fucking just doing
good
Molly every
vibes
night and fucking
only.
everyone I
Oh,
can think of. I don't.
God.
Yeah, good vibes only. Fuck chlamydia for the third
God
time this
damn it!
week.
You're
With a
telling me
vibe.
what I'm doing wrong,
But
and it's
I feel
pissing
like
me off. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, that's the big one. So I lived growing up, especially bullied my whole life, got to high school. Everyone then started doing drugs. I had already been doing drugs for a little bit, so everyone was like, "Oh my god, this guy's
He's the
fucking awesome. He's got drugs. Let's
coolest.
hang out with this guy." That's pretty much how it went. So I became social butterfly, hung out with every
Yeah.
demographic of friend group you could think of, and just kind of fit in wherever because I always had drugs and shit, or I always knew how to get them. And a lot of those people, I would say 99.9% of the people I was quote unquote friends with in high school, all of them as we got older, A, stopped talking to me, B, ended up overdosing and dying, C, went to
Or
prison,
four.
or 4,
Whoa.
because fuck
Yeah, you
me.
didn't want to say that out loud.
Or 4, they sobered up and figured their shit out. And the 0.01% is option 4 for where I grew up. So most of those people I grew up around were people like that. They think they cut me off because I was killing their vibe. I worried about them sleeping with 1,000 people a month. I worried about them doing drugs. And I know everyone thinks I'm referring specifically to females because I used my fucking voice I use when I make fun of people. Let me let everyone know that voice is genderless. That can be male or female, and most of my friends were males. So, and I'm specifically referring to a lot of my very close friends growing up. I don't talk to any of them anymore. Like, especially since I had a kid. Like, I tried to hang out with this guy a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Hey, I'm in town. You want to just go hike? We can catch up, go get some coffee, get a beer or something." This guy literally was like, "Dude, I mean, you sure you don't? We could just like go to my place
Oh,
and drink some
God.
vodka and like listen to music." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not trying to get fucking shit-faced drunk at 2
Oh God.
p.m. on a like Tuesday, bro. It's Tuesday. What are you doing?" He's like, "Bro, you're not
Nah,
fun
you
anymore,
ruined his
man." I'm like,
whole
"Damn, I
vibe.
guess I'm
That's
fucking not
that's
fun
not
anymore."
fun.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
that
fun
becomes a
anymore.
task. Drinking at 2 in the afternoon is now like that's a
Oh,
that's more
boy.
of a challenge than something to do for fun for me. Thinking about it,
Well,
it's like I don't know.
Greg, the
okay,
difference between
yeah,
drinking
I'm not
vodka
Yeah,
sitting
at
there
2
vodka's
fucking
p.m.
drinking
and
that's what
liquor
I
drinking
and
mean.
getting
beer.
shit faced on. Like, I'm not like, hey, man, let's dummy a 40 real quick. No, yeah, you're right. There's a big difference between those
And
two. I
I
don't
also
normally
want to
get shit faced
clarify.
on liquor all day.
I also want to clarify that the voice that I did, also in response to Logan's voice, was not anybody well, it wasn't any gender in particular. It was Greg. So everybody just rest easy. It was just
Billy's
Greg.
It was just
impersonation.
Greg.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah,
No, I think it's important. Everyone gets to a point where I feel in their life. Some people much later, and I feel like a lot of people may die young because they don't get to this point. But I feel like you get to a point where priorities start to flip. For me, it happened very abruptly. My friend, was murdered, and then another one of my friends died in a car accident, like within a couple years of each other. And dealing with that, this was before last year when you guys know, 5 members of my family died. But
We were here for all of it.
that was what sobered me up. What sobered me up initially was my friend getting murdered. Like I was at his house. I literally was at his house. They called me into work early for whatever reason, which I never would go before, but something was like, "Hey, go in, get the extra hour of work, get some extra money." And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go." Go to work. Somebody rolls up 30 minutes after I left and shot everybody in the house and killed one of the guys and like very seriously injured the other guy. He was in critical condition and had surgery and all kinds of shit. But that right there was like, "Hey, you should probably just stop doing drugs," because I got that kid into
Yeah.
that. Like at that point, like I feel like he glorified me and he glorified what I
It
did
is what it
because
is.
me and my friends all kind of introduced him into it. Yeah, and so I'd had to deal with that demon for a long time, and I've gotten to a point now where I've made peace with it, and I know that there's nothing I can do to change the past. So I kind of just gotta like take the memories as they were and like hold on to them. But that sort of harsh growing up led to the realization that reality is finite. Your life is finite. And if you spend your whole time running away from your problems and just kind of numbing yourself and pulling yourself back into the shell so you don't have to expose yourself to any of the harshness of reality, that you won't ever grow, you won't ever truly be happy, and you'll stay there miserable. And I had that realization, like it was like a light came on in my fucking head, and I was like, "Oh man, what the fuck have I been doing?" And I've not touched anything. I mean, I smoke and I drink, but I feel like everyone hits a point in their life where hopefully that sort of forced change or that paradigm shift happens. Those that don't get to reach it, I truly feel sorry for, but I feel like it's one of those things that if you're listening to this right now and you feel like you're kind of in that perpetual loop or perennial loop, of just running in the hamster wheel, it does get
and
better. You have to
may
initiate
I
change.
say, it's not so much. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to add to your point. It's not so much doing because we were talking about hobbies before, and so doing cocaine isn't a hobby. But
Yeah, it's not
no,
really a hobby. It can make your hobbies more fun, but it can also literally cause blood clots in
yes,
your
and it
lungs.
can cause your wallet to just.
If your hobby is
Yeah, your
being
wallet.
in debt, go ahead.
Here's another thing too, like, if you're saying that having money doesn't directly correlate to you having an easier life, which also leads to you being happier because 'cause you're not stressed out, you're full of shit.
Money
I hate
doesn't
when
buy
people will, like,
happiness.
purposefully stay broke. Yeah, they'll purposefully stay broke and be like, "Dude, it's not about the money for me, man. I'm perfectly content." And then the next fucking day, they're, like, begging their family members for money and, like, crying because they're so stressed out and they don't know
Yeah,
why life is unfair to them. I feel like you have to find a balance. I'm not saying spend your whole life, like, chasing the fucking dollar, but you do have to have it because it's a vehicle to make sure you
absolutely.
live a comfortable life. And if you have children,
So
you
before I
better be
brought
trying to
up
make
that
fucking money.
cocaine bit, I was
That
actually getting to a point where I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off, Logan, but what I
Oh,
was
you're
gonna
good.
say
You're
was
rambling.
basically along the same lines, but more towards like you can do the same shit every day that I wouldn't say being stuck in a perpetual loop is bad, but as long as like the things that you like doing aren't hindering you from growing, from changing. Like that's the
Yeah.
point in where your hobbies can become detrimental. Like we're not saying like throw away your fucking, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, I get you. You're correct. I speak a little bluntly and harshly. I feel like the points I make feel like they're very far in one direction, but it's because I
so
passionately
that
speak. But you're right. You shouldn't if something makes you happy and you do it
and so
regularly, you
that
Yeah.
shouldn't
point
stop
of
doing it just because.
that singularity point where you realize like, oh, what I'm doing isn't working. That point is also for people like who are introspective enough to realize that they are unhappy. I know that sounds weird enough, but people can live their whole lives and not realize that they're in a state of like unhappiness, I guess, or anguish or something like that. But
Yeah.
more so like because when I was hearing it, it was almost like I feel bad for people who can just like basically live with nothing and like be unmotivated and do nothing. But it's I think it's very rare that there's people who do nothing and feel as though they do nothing, but also are content with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the point more of what I was getting at is like uh, for the people who do choose to do nothing, like the beach bum who has been a beach bum for 30 years, like more power to
Bro,
him.
can
I
you
don't.
drive me to the beach today?
No, I feel okay. I will say this: beach bums are different because that is something I could genuinely do. I know that right now, if I didn't have Kiana and my child, and I took a different path in life, I could be a beach bum forever. I've talked about that so many times. But the difference between being a beach bum and being somebody who lives off the government and Section 8 housing, or and like let me clarify, purposefully goes out of their way to not better their situation, and they just
You gotta
like
at
to
least try to get
scrape
a
by with the
job and
bare
like
minimum.
do some shit.
I feel like the beach bums, they have to fucking survive to an extent where they have to make shelter every night. They still have to fucking
It
get
it
food and
is
shit.
work.
Like
They definitely
beach bum to
work
me, when
hard.
I imagine beach bum, I think of like me with a fishing
Yeah.
pole.
Yeah,
Like
and
I just have a fishing pole
that's
and
kind of
like
what I was getting
travel.
at too. Is that if you're perfectly content, like living in a wood cabin and fishing for your food, and like maybe doing
No,
trucking for
that's
6 years,
badass.
That's
Yeah,
badass.
that's
that is
badass.
badass.
Respect.
That's respect. Like I don't necessarily think that you need to. And to another point, like I know some people, more power to them, that they drink every day because that's what they want to do. But it's very certain situation. Like I don't know everybody's path. Like I don't know everybody's past or path. So like you were saying, if you did take a different path, you could be a beach bum and you'd be totally content with it. I'm talking about the people who are on the mainstream path but are like just dogging it. Those are the people that need to kind of wake up. Not so much the people who are on their own kind of path and doing their own thing. Like you can like so not harping on any particular like job or anything, but I've heard that if you're typically just a painter or an artist, not just a painter or an artist, but a lot of those people struggle for a large portion of their life because it's based on supply, demand, how much people are willing to spend money, and how much people like
Definitely
your art.
hard to get. That's a hard ass business to get into for
Exactly.
sure.
And
And the thing about that too is you have to pour every single ounce of
Yeah,
creativity you have
and
into
then
that, and
and
that's
then you
hard
go
to do
back to your
regularly.
regular
I
life
don't
and you're
care who you are.
exhausted.
It is hard to be creative every. Yeah, it is so hard to be creative if you're already struggling. Like the thing about upcoming artists and musicians and things like that and entrepreneurs, I have the utmost respect for people like that because those are the people that typically do work a day job. They come home exhausted as fuck, and then they still try to find time to be passionate and
Right,
creative
and so they
to
can hit
something
it.
that they
Yeah,
can potentially one
so
day turn into their
so what about
career.
the
Yeah, or
woman
their
who got into a car accident and got some form of brain damage, like a foggy, like their thinking was foggy, so they went on disability. From disability, they went into geared income housing, so they've just been living off the government for 30 years. But that woman also, all she does as her point of happiness is eat, sleep, paint, watch TV, and repeat. I don't
I
think
think
necessarily that that's a like
that person
no, they
also
aren't
isn't
listening to
listening
that
to this
this
podcast.
podcast,
There's
but
no way.
that person also, I don't think has a. I don't think they're doing anything wrong, dude.
no. I think, dude, to each their own, bro. Like
No,
if
no.
you find happiness in something,
That's the point I was
like
making. To
that's
each their
that.
own,
Like
but
what are you
And
gonna do
then
about it?
you could go on the opposite end of the spectrum and say, well, that guy who just sits at home and drinks all day and is content doing that, what separates the two of them? But I guess it's
Okay. Here's what separates it. I love the guy that sits around and drinks all day. I love the person that I'm telling that can actively change, that they can change. So I'm coming from a place of love. And this is something that a lot of people like to talk about and they think it's toxic masculinity. But you should shame people you love who are fucking living unhealthily and going to kill themselves because you care about them and you
If you
want
love
them to live
them,
longer.
I will.
So yes, I feel
Be
like
your
shaming
friends.
someone
Yes.
you care about it. Yeah, if you love your friends and your family, or even the people listening to this, that's why I bitch. Because I'm like, hey, I want you to fucking do good. I don't want you to be miserable your whole life. The person who isn't even coherent enough to understand that, I'm not really conversing to them right now. But I will say, like Greg was saying, to each their own. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just some drunk idiot, drunken high idiot on a podcast named after bread that you put
Named
in a
after
fucking high
bread that you
temperature.
just
and then
Fine.
dip
stick
in
in a
semen.
machine.
Oh.
Yeah. But it all comes from a place of love. I feel like the people that listen to this are my family. The people that join Not So Lucky Cats Club are my family, and Kosei Techie that watch my
Yeah.
YouTube. I genuinely
So-
love every single person that supports me. So I can say that wholeheartedly. Like if they were to hit me up and I had the ability to help,
I think
would.
that if it's there's millions of people out there, whatever, billions that fucking sit there watch TV. That's their whole hobby, right? But if that, since we're so close, if that were one of us and we just said, "Hey, man, I just want to fucking sit and watch TV all fucking day and not even like talk to you guys or like go for a walk or anything like that," right? You'd be like, "Well." You'd be like, yeah,
Get off the
Greg,
couch.
go for a fucking
Call you a
walk.
pussy.
Like, let's go for a
Right
walk.
before this podcast, what was going on? Let's have a little share behind the scenes.
Literally what we were doing, Greg. Greg was saying he was too tired to do the podcast, and Griffin yelled at him and told him to. And I called him a pussy, and we forced him to get on here because it's good to mentally stimulate
Listen.
yourself and converse with your friends and catch up, and it's also good
But
to not
I
take midday naps.
also
Damn it!
was like, hey, I'm still here. Listen, I was ready for the podcast at 5 o'clock. Okay, fuck you guys.
That is right.
It's true. It is true. It is true. Okay, we did delay.
I was ready, and then
Greg,
I
you're
was
a
just,
trooper.
I was just tired. I was just saying
You
that
wouldn't
I'm
be here without
fucking tired, and I'm like, well, I was sitting here and saying, let's start the fucking podcast. We gotta start it. Fuck you guys.
No, but that is a good example of when you
Um,
need to jog someone out of that state of perpetual stuck in their own head. And I feel like I brought this point up on the podcast before, but a person who has nothing to think about except thoughts is gonna go insane.
I'm already there.
Yeah, sitting there just circling your own thoughts. I mean, dude, that is another reason too. Like, I know a lot of people like to say they're lone wolves, but humans are not
No, you
fucking
need
solitude creatures. Like, we're
someone. You don't even need a
social creatures.
significant
You
other.
need,
You just need
yeah,
friends, and you need at least
yeah, you
one
need
friend.
conversation. You need, if, dude, do you see what happens to people who spend extended amounts of time in the wild and then they come
No,
back
but
to
they're
society?
probably fucked up.
They're
They're
fucking
real
weird, man.
but they're real good at
Yeah,
nature.
I have friends that have done that, and I love them with, my whole heart. They know that. But when they come back from doing their bushcraft shit, they're fucking weird, bro. They don't like converse normally. They don't converse normally. They really don't. They
like,
can't think about
you're-
anything but the
You're like,
wild. You can't
you
talk to
talk
them
about,
about
and you're
anything
like,
but that.
you think
And
I can start a fire with these rappers?
I could start a fire with these rappers, right? You know what? This would be a good place to camp. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my
Right.
tent, set it up by that trash can over there. You get some bark from that tree. We'll go ahead. And
It could
damn it, not again. We just camped in the Walmart parking lot last week.
it could also be like they're just staring off, looking at trees, and you're saying something. That's
That is the
the
main
actual
thing.
factual
That
thing
is
that I
really
noticed of those people is like, and you could
that is
say
that is
something
the
and they'll
main
be
thing.
like, "Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening." I'm like, "Okay, well, do you want to hear again?" And then he's like, "No, I'm good." I'm, I
That's
heard a
not
little
good.
bit of it, and I don't really want to talk about that.
No,
so
I'm
much.
good.
One of the most hurtful things one of my buddies ever said to me, he came back from a pretty long excursion, and that was happening. He was spacing out, and I was like, "Yo, bro, like, are you good? Is everything good? I haven't seen you in a long time. Just, I missed you. Just want to catch up." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just completely uninterested in anything you
Wow.
have to say, and I would rather be in the woods right now than be right
That's a
here.
roast.
And I was like, and it like hurt my feelings, but at the same time, I was like,
Respect.
you know what?
You know what?
I
Hey,
understand
man.
it. Yeah, I
High
respect it.
five.
He knows what he wants, and he is living it. But it wouldn't. No matter what facet in life, no matter what path you're taking, no matter what you're doing, as long as you're trying to grow and succeed, or you're trying to capture and contain and hold on to some form of happiness, or share love, or just do something to leave your
Yeah,
mark on the
whatever
world,
it
stick
is.
with it. Things are gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be great. Um, is he okay? Sorry, my child just came in the room. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of it because I have to get off here
He has
and
to have
have
his
my child.
child.
It's a bit of a short podcast today, but we're going to have some guests on in the next coming weeks. I've got a nice little list of some interesting people to talk to. So, as always, you can go to koseiteki.com, check out my merch, KOSEITEKI.com, or you can go to Not So Lucky Cats Club on OpenSea, check out my NFT. And we are now putting all of our podcasts on YouTube, as well as Catch and Cook videos and other things. Just search Logan Eisenhower. Is there anything you boys want to shout
So
out?
I
You
just
just want to
gonna
tell me you love me.
say I love you. I have diabetes. Yeah, that's it. I'd love to juggle for you sometime. That's it. That's all I got.
I'm gonna be.
What about you, Griff Talk?
I am going to start learning some video editing. So, not quite yet going to be talking about any YouTube channels, but maybe in the near future we might have a couple
Oh,
different
yeah.
places to post our podcast, and that'd be good.
True.
Aside from that, Logan, you okay?
Mentally.
Yes. Oh, wait. Oh,
Oh,
God. All of a sudden,
don't choke!
Oh.
Don't no! Don't choke on your daily dose of 2 pieces of toast.
You heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. Much love. See you all in the next one. Peace.